Hey y'all, welcome to the Crafty Cove. Here we like to do farmhouse decor on a Dollar Tree budget. First, let me just say I'm sorry there will be no music in this video today because I'm working out a few kinks, but we're going to go on with it anyway. I'm so excited to be a part of the Waste Not, Want Not challenge today with so many amazing, talented crafters. We're going to talk about that in just a little while, but we're going to get right into it. So for these DIYs, we are to use cardboard or anything that we would consider trash. So for my first DIY, I'm going to use this pod container that I have. This is a pretty large one, but what I'm going to use it for is to put my grocery bags in when we get those, because I save them because my husband takes them for lunch. So that's what I'm going to put them in. So I decided to go ahead and paint this black. Now, at the time, I thought this was going to stay black, but it does not stay black. But I did go ahead and paint 2 good coats of black chalk paint on this. The first coat, of course, is always your messiest coat. You're just trying to get something on there to hold the paint. I did not take the stickers off of this because I could not get them off. I tried everything and nothing worked, so I didn't even worry about that. But after I got it painted black, I decided, you know what? I want a little bit of color. And to some of you, this may not seem like a color, but to me, it is. It's this silver color, and it's got a little bit of a blue hint to it. And I just loved this color after this one was finished. So I do 2 good coats of this on top of the black, which held really well after I had all that black paint on there. It made it so much easier for this silver paint to hold. So after we get 2 coats of that on there, I want to go ahead and put some Mod Podge on here, at least 1 good layer, because anytime you paint on plastic, you're very prone to chips. Like if you just touch it wrong, your paint can chip right off. So I knew I was going to be handling this and didn't want that to happen. So I go ahead and get 1 good coat of Mod Podge on here. So after that coat of Mod Podge, I'm getting this stencil out from the Dollar Tree that says Farmer's Market, and we are just going to stick that right on there. And I thought I was going to need taped, but the Mod Podge was a little tacky, so it held just fine by itself. Now, y'all, I'm not an expert at stenciling, so you're just going to see how I do it. This is more than likely not the proper way to do it, but this is just how I did it on this day. I did 2 good coats of this white chalk paint over the stencil, and it worked out perfectly for me. It did have a little bit of bleeding, but that's okay because y'all know I'm all about the farmhouse and distressed look, so that didn't bother me in the least bit. Pull it off, let that dry. While that's drying, I go ahead and paint up the lids. 1 good coat of this silver paint on there, and then a coat of Mod Podge, and it goes right on top. And here is what it looks like. So here's what it looks like. I'm in love with it. It's going to work perfectly for what I need it for. It's a little distressed, but that's okay. I don't mind it. So again, today I'm part of the Waste Not, Want Not challenge. It's a twist on a mystery box hop. All of these amazing, amazing crafters and I got together, and the thing about it is, our last DIY, we were challenged on something to make, and none of us know what anyone challenged their person with. So my last DIY, you all will see who challenged me and what they challenged me to make. Now we're going to move right on to DIY number 2. So my husband and I bought a work table a couple weeks ago, and these boxes came in it. So I'm going to take, there were 2 of these. I'm going to take one of these boxes, and I'm just going to cut off the top of the box right underneath where the wording is. That's the only wording on this box, and it's just on one side. But I didn't want that on there. Didn't want to have to mess with covering it up. So I'm just going to cut all around this box and take the top half off. Forgive me for any noise you may hear in the background. Not only is it a windy day here in Kentucky, my husband is putting me in a new kitchen door. So you are liable to hear hammering, sawing, just about anything. Please forgive me for that today. So again, we're just cutting off the top of this box. Do not throw that away, because as soon as we get the top off, we're going to use that, or part of that box. So I'm just going all the way around the center of this box, again, underneath that lettering, and taking this top part off. When we get the top part off, we're going to cut it on the seam and open it up. And then we are going to cut 2 pieces of the same length out of this. First, I just start by taking off these little flaps here. And then those two longer pieces, one on each end, I cut those off and leave those at the size that they are at. And this was really simple with my little craft knife. I mean, I had no problems whatsoever cutting this cardboard with this. So after we get that finished, we're going to take back the bottom part of our box, and I'm going to paint the entire inside with black chalk paint. I used a sponge brush for this, but in the places where I couldn't get like down in the corners and things, I just went ahead and used a smaller brush because I wanted to make sure that all of this was covered. After we get all of the black painted on the inside, then we're going to take those two longer pieces and paint those with 2 coats of white paint. Now, I started painting this vertically, and I realized there's like corrugated pieces in there, and it made it so much simpler to paint when I started painting it horizontally. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm painting 2 coats on each piece of this, front, back, and all the way around the edges. After we get that finished, we're going to set those aside to dry, and then we're going to take our bottom piece back. And y'all know me, I cannot do a video without buffalo check. And this may not be everyone's style, but I love buffalo check. So you could always use a different vinyl, or you could even paint the outside of this. It doesn't matter. Make this creation your own when you go to make it. But because I love buffalo check, buffalo plaid, I decided that's what I was going to make this. All 3 of these projects are for my kitchen, and that's one thing that I decorate in is buffalo plaid and farm animals. So this is going to work out perfectly for me. I'm going to go ahead and cover all 4 sides with this buffalo plaid vinyl from the Dollar Tree. When I get it on there the way that I want it, I just flip it over and cut off any excess that I don't need. I'm just showing you me doing the other side. And then, of course, I do the 2 ends on this piece. All of it is, again, buffalo check. I've said that a lot in this video. I just cut off the size that I need, put it on there. Now, on the tops, I do let it overlap a little bit. That way I can fold it down into the box, and that way that cardboard is covered. Now I'm just going to take a dowel rod that I got out of a package from Walmart, and I'm just going to paint this up black, the entire dowel rod. And now, let me see. We're going to take this little galvanized cow that I got from the Dollar Tree last year and some rub-on letters, and we are just going to spell out some words on this cow here. And I'm doing farm fresh because, again, I like the buffalo check. I like the animals. Sorry about the shaking there. The farm animals, so that's what I decided to do for this one. After we get all of those pieces peeled up, we are just going to put our piece together. So our 2 white pieces, we are just going to glue on the inside of the box. This is kind of like, I don't know, like a toolbox, or I don't really know what you'd call it. I'm calling it my milk box, even though I don't put milk in it. I've got flowers in it right now. But anyway, we glue both of those in there, and then we're just going to go ahead and glue our dowel rod to the top and in between those white pieces. I'm going to eventually put a little towel on there. You could put anything you want, or don't use that part at all. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my little cow on the front. I didn't like how you could still see the cardboard even on the sides, even after I painted it. So I'm just going to take this pitberry garland from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go all around the edges. This is green and white, which doesn't bother me because green makes me think of spring, and I am so ready for spring. So I just go down it once, and then I go back down it again. So there's 2 layers of this garland on each side, front and back, and along the top of this piece. And after that, I do put a little knot like bow on the cow up there where the little hole is. And there it is. I loved how this turned out. I did go ahead and distress the white. It was just too white for me. And y'all know I love distressed. Okay, it's time for our final DIY. And this one is my mystery box project. And I was given the task of making a cardboard tray from CJ DIY. So CJ, I hope you're proud of this one. I hope it turns out well. So I'm taking this hanging lantern box that I got from the dollar store because I bought 2 of these little hanging lanterns. Thank God I saved the box. I'm just going to cut it down the seam and open it up. Once I get it opened up, I am going to cut off all of the flaps on the sides here. And then I decided exactly what size I wanted my tray. And I go ahead and cut the box down to that size. Now, I would love to just use cardboard on this, but it was way too flimsy. It was not going to hold anything. So instead I took jumbo popsicle sticks or giant craft sticks, and I'm going to go all along the back and glue these down so that it can give it a little more stability so that I can actually put things on this tray. Again, this is going to go in my kitchen. All of my DIYs are for my kitchen today. We are remodeling. That's why my husband's in there making all kinds of noise today. So after I get all of these glued on, then I go ahead and do some cross pieces. Again, just want more stability so I can place things on this and it will not collapse on me. After that, I take some smaller regular size popsicle sticks and just reinforce with a few of those. Next, I'm going to take 4 of the, oh, nope, sorry. I'm going to take some beads. I'm taking 3 strands of the bead strands that the Dollar Tree had last year, and I'm using 3 strands. I'm only showing you one. This is how I paint my beads. I put them in a container, put some paint in, put a little bit of water in, mix them all up, and then I place them on a paper plate and let them dry. Now we're going to take 4 of these blocks and we're going to go ahead and paint these black. Now y'all, I used a lot more beads than what I actually just showed right there, but I was just letting you see how I paint my beads. After we get that finished, again, buffalo check, I'm going to take some buffalo check vinyl and I'm going to cover the top. This is going to be the top of our tray. So I'm just going to cut out the size that I need and get that put down. This is going to be the actual part of the tray that you see. After I get it put down, I just go ahead and flip it over and of course cut off any excess. Again, if you're not a buffalo check person, you don't have to use this. Use another vinyl, use paint, whatever you wanted to do. The one thing I did like about this being the vinyl, if something happens to get spilt on it, I can wipe it right off and it should come right off and it should not ruin the actual cardboard that's underneath. Next, we're going to go ahead and glue on all of our little blocks, 1 in each corner, because my tray is going to be a tray / pedestal, I guess is what you call it, because I wanted it to sit up and not just sit flat on my table, actually on my stove where it's going to go. Now I'm going to take all of these beads after they have dried and we're going to start gluing around the edges of our piece. Again, this ended up taking 3 strands of those beads that came together or came on strands at the Dollar Tree. And what I'm doing is I'm gluing on one side of the bead and then on the bead in front of it, I'm gluing on the end so that not only am I gluing the bead to the cardboard, but I'm also securing it again by gluing the bead to the bead beside it. Does that make any kind of sense at all? I hope so. Y'all know this is my first video back, my first new video back on YouTube since before Christmas. So I was so excited to do this and of course to work with these amazing ladies. Oh, they are just hilarious and I love working with them. After we get our beads done all the way around, we're going to flip it over and do even more hot glue to secure it on the back side of and I'm just running that hot glue all along the beads and the cardboard to get those to make sure that they're very secure. Next, I just go through and touch up any of the beads that may have gotten scuffed or anything like that when we were flipping it over and flipping it back, or when I was putting the beads on, they could have got stuck to the paper plate or anything like that. We're just touching up here. After that, we're going to take another of these galvanized animals. I love these things. And I'm going to take the chicken this time and a rub-on transfer that says farmhouse. We are going to put our rub-on transfer right on our chicken. And then after we peel it off, we are going to put our chicken right in the middle of our tray. I liked this because, like I said, my tray is going to go on my stove to hold like a candle and things like that. But the chicken just gave it a little bit more of a farmhouse feel to me. And of course, I love the farm animals. So now we're just going to make 2 little knots out of some buffalo check ribbon, cut those down to the size that they need to be, and we're going to cover up both of those holes. I have this on my stove right now. It holds my spoon rest. It holds a candle and something else. I don't remember what else I have on there. I can't remember. But anyway, it's held up really, really well. Those popsicle sticks really help to give it some security where it won't just fold in on itself. So here we are with the final product. I love how it turned out. Does it look homemade? Yes. But you know what? That's fine with me. So here's our final reveal of all 3 of our projects. We are just trying to show you in this collab that looks so worn out, but I love it looking distressed like that. We're just trying to show you that you can take trash and make it treasure. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on home decor. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the playlist in the description box below. These ladies are absolutely amazing, and it was such an honor to work with them all. Thanks for watching. Y'all come back now. You hear?